Hello, Amity City. Between last broadcast and now, something interesting has happened. As you know, we are at war. The intercontinental conflict has been going on for a while now. Redonia isn't known for its military, and our military-industrial complex is strained, to say the least. I've heard rumors that special operations units have to acquire all of their weapons in the field. The Redonian army is fighting in Belvac, a tundra island up north, and Arovia, a nation to the south that's mostly jungle, mountain, swamp. This story starts in Arovia. Last week, at a forward operating base in the Vertovat province that the Redonian army had recently secured, trouble was brewing. The units that were rebuilding the base and holding it down had been hearing rumors in nearby towns that the Arovian military was on its way. I'm not a soldier, but I've met a few. They always say the days, minutes, seconds before combat, when you know it's coming, those moments are enough to drive anyone insane. According to the news, Rifleman First Class Xavier Mars felt that tension. The base was raided 3 days later by Arovian soldiers, but there were no members of the Redonian army left alive. It was a bloodbath. Pictures are scarce, but the ones I have seen... Well, the news has been claiming that Rifleman Mars killed 36 soldiers by himself using just his standard issue rifle, sidearm, and knife. The pictures look more like a wild animal tore through the base. I wasn't buying it. Not just because the photos made no sense with the alleged tactics used, but also because I know Xavier. He grew up in Hatbridge. He went to boot camp a year after I moved to the borough. He only deployed 6 months ago. So, in the interest of protecting my friend, I started to do my own investigation. I called him. No answer, which is smart because the Army, Investigation Battalion of Redonia, and every police force in the country is hunting for him, so I wouldn't be answering calls either. I swung by his old apartment, but his mom said she hadn't heard from him recently either. She told me he was acting strange before he deployed. She said he seemed sick, agitated. She said she caught him talking to himself more than once. I asked her if I could come inside, and she panicked. When I finally talked her off the ledge, she let me into the apartment. The walls, the sink, the floor, all scarred by this black residue. It looked like it was once a liquid, like he'd been throwing up whatever it was. I stayed a while to help her clean, but it didn't come out easy. When it would, it came out blue, almost cyan. I got some in my hair, and it dyed a strand, so if you know any good hair salons that are willing to pro bono dye my hair again, that would be very nice of you. With no further leads, I started to do some research. We've talked about possession on this show before, but this didn't feel like that. Or at least not the same kind of possession that demons do, or what the little girl in the toy factory was up to. I started by looking into the substance on the floor. I'm sure you're not surprised, but looking up weird blue substance on my floor kind of just led me to reading a bunch of mom blogs about cleaning. I felt dead in the water, but Xavier needed me. He's a good kid. I decided to get clever about it. Just because Xavier wasn't picking up his phone doesn't mean it wasn't on his person. I called his phone company pretending to be his girlfriend. I said I was certain he was cheating on me and I needed his location so I could go yell at him. I might have also told the lady who picked up that I was in her sorority. Be careful what you post on social media, folks. It can be used against you. She told me that the phone was in Westbridge. Bruno and I got on the PACFA and rode to Central Amity Metro Station. It's always interesting who gets on the train between the boroughs. If you're going to one of the quieter boroughs from Hatbridge, it's grandmas, hipsters, small families. When you're headed into Westbridge, it's all suits, socialites. I finally arrived, and Bruno and I ran through the streets. He was hiding in Kirk Park. Dirty, wearing a big jacket, battered scarf. He was living next to a dumpster where no one would bother to look at him. Time for an ad break, some music, and a new segment on the weather and news that the station is demanding I do. Okay? All right.
Looking for a fun activity this summer? Come down to the Amity City Botanical Garden in Portbridge. We just finished building 3 new greenhouses to hold many varietals of sensitive new plant species. Come walk our flower gardens, our arboretum, and our new butterfly house. We are also opening a tea shop on the south side of the park. Best of all, admittance is entirely free.
Mount Boar Resort is having its grand reopening just before the end of this winter season. After a year of refurbishment and construction, we are finally ready for you to come home. Come enjoy the spa, the slopes, the lake, the quiet of the woods. We thank you for your patience, and we are oh so happy to welcome you back. Visit our website to book your lodgings or call our front desk. There's no place like home. Mount Boar Resort. This is Feelin' Like Nico by Granny Smith.
Let's fucking go.
This is OSC researcher Hannah Price. Sorry, I just really like that song. Maybe I'll start leaving some of the music in. If I have to listen to every single one of Claire's broadcasts, I might as well have a nice time. Let's get the weather and the news over with so that we can get back into the story. There has been no news of great importance that wasn't covered by one of the PM radio show hosts earlier this evening. It is a dreadful 11 degrees outside, snowing just a little bit as we break through winter into early spring. If you're near the coastline, it's significantly colder as the wind chill from the ocean is brutal today. Was that good? Am I good? Okay. I found Xavier in the alley. I walked over to talk to him, but he quickly realized I spotted him and stood up to run away. He was fast. I tried to keep up, but when he realized I was still on him, he suddenly leapt into the air, his hands glowing with this ghoulish blue light. It looked like he had grown claws. He tore his way up a wall and onto a roof. I couldn't follow him, so I chucked a brick to try and get him to stop. The light wrapped around him and deflected it to the ground. That seemed to piss him off because he spun around immediately and dove off the building towards me. The light started to cover his entire body. Looked like armor, but pulsing and breathing. Alive. I decided that this would be a good moment for me to run, but I heard Xavier yell, "No," and suddenly he stopped moving. Body quaking, as though he was straining to keep the blue light from tearing me apart. I asked if I could buy him a coffee. When he finally convinced the gooey light to go away, it soaked into his skin like a towel absorbing water. I led him to a nearby bodega, bought him a sandwich and a coffee, and we talked. Xavier told me before he deployed he started having odd dreams. He was a white man, which was very new for his dreams. It was the 1160s, so early cars, black and white TVs, milkmen, and silly uniforms for pretty much every profession. You get it. In these dreams, he was an ACPD cop, a detective. He would see every detail of this man's life, dates with his wife, crime scenes, and every one of these dreams ended the same way. Xavier, as this man, as this detective, would die. Some guy with a gun would shoot him in a dark alley behind a jazz club. He told me when he would wake up from these dreams that blue fluid would be on his lips or his ears. He told the army about it, but their doctors couldn't find a cause for it, and his physical scores were still acceptable, so they assumed it was nothing. Then the man started talking to him during the day. Only whispers at first, swearing at people when they were rude to him, or reminding Xavier that he left his bunk unmade before leaving for physical training. Then the two started talking to one another. Small conversations. Xavier said it felt like he was thinking in someone else's language. The process felt different. His attention became so easily split that he could effortlessly do two tasks at once. Once Xavier deployed, it got worse. He racked up promotions easily. It was like the second a fight started, he knew where an enemy soldier may be hiding. He wasn't a great shot before he deployed, but suddenly he was getting more and more rapid, more deadly. When the base was taken, and his unit was sent to help keep it locked down, he started to notice some odd behavior. The other soldiers were planning on helping a smuggler run drugs out of the base. Suddenly, Xavier and the voice were at odds. Xavier didn't care, but the voice he heard did. The voice was livid, furious. Xavier's unit started to believe he was going to rat them out. The voice became more and more convinced that his unit was going to try and kill him. The paranoia grew. One night, in the barracks, one of Xavier's friends was cleaning his gun and made the mistake of looking up. Xavier said it was like suddenly his body wasn't his anymore. The blue light cloaked him. He tore through every single person on base like a wild animal. He told me it was like being shocked in his nerves, forcing him to twitch, to throw his hands, to leap, to run, to kill. He tore his best friend in half. Several soldiers managed to get to their weapons, but the bullets just bounced right off of the weird, glowing substance. When all was said and done, Xavier killed every person on base. The voice told him to run, get home. He's been laying low ever since. He told me to leave him alone, that the voice was angry at me. I suppose I would be angry too if someone threw a brick at me. So I decided that's what I would do. I gave him $50 to buy a train ticket out of town. They don't check IDs for Red Line trains, so he can get really anywhere in the country he wants to go. And then he left. Let's run some more ads and music. Then we can break down what we learned from this story, okay?
Do you need a new little buddy in your home? Kent Animal Shelter wants to help. This month we're running our 3rd annual Adopt-a-thon. Any pets over 3 years old are 50% off their adoption fee. Any sibling or bonded pair are 2 for 1 when adopted together. And we'll throw in a bag of food and any other necessary equipment for free. Come on down to the Kent Animal Shelter Adopt-a-thon. Got some cash to burn. Want to spend some of that money on some lovely ladies, cheap beer, wings, and fries? Come on down to the Stable Club. North Wickbridge is the best place to spend your cash after a long day on beautiful ladies and a night of merriment. We've been the cleanest gentlemen's club on our street for 10 years running. Come on down. Tell 'em Sal sent ya.
Oh, okay, that ad was gross. Let's keep it going with the Granny Smith. This is Lots by Granny Smith. Let's wrap this up. I did some research. You'd think more detectives would have died to a gunshot wound in 1160 behind a jazz club in this city, but Paul was easy to find. My immediate assumption is a ghost, hitching a ride in Xavier's body. Maybe the bond the two have has given Paul more access to control things, materialize things, maybe using the matter of the sunless place, but I don't know. I can't exonerate Xavier. The army doesn't really take a ghost from the 1160s made me do it as an excuse for wiping out an entire base. They'll be hunting Xavier for the rest of his days. I just hope he made it out of town. Out of the country, if he's smart and lucky. Oh, it's been a while since that's happened. Wait, what? It's him again? Listeners, I've recently found a new informant who is a little cagey. I'm going to try and convince him to let me play some of our call next broadcast, but right now, I will respect his need for privacy. Mark, take us off the air? Good morning, Amity City. Go get some coffee. It's going to be a long day. Amity After Dark is an unfiction horror podcast produced by Livewire Stories. This show is written and produced by Gwen Fullman. The music you heard in this episode was made by Granny Smith, who can be found on Bandcamp and SoundCloud. Claire White is played by Gwen Fullman. Mark is voiced by Theo. Advertisers 1 and 2 were voiced by Gwen Fullman. If you enjoyed this episode and want to hear more, please consider subscribing to our Patreon at Livewire Multimedia Stories to receive episodes a week early for only $2 a month. Check out our website at livewiretabletop.wixsite.com/livewire. Subscribe to us on YouTube or join our Discord in the description below. The best way you can support us is to show this to a friend. Thank you. And a special thanks to our Patreon patrons who make all of this possible.